You and Ben are live on Facebook. And we're live on the second.
What's playing right now? They can hear us.
Damn it.
Hey guys, so welcome to the stream. We wanted to kind of start today's Let's Talk Gunpla a little differently than we usually do, in hopes that it would play audio on the YouTube, but I'm sure it's probably set up to play the audio off of the HDMI. So anyways, welcome to Let's Talk Gunpla with Uber's Cosplay, guys. We are here this evening on the 18th of, what's it called? Episode 33 on the 18th day of October, year 2021. And I'm Eddie Asfeo, the owner, one of the owners of Flynn's Arcade, joined by my partner in crime,
Ben, aka
And guys, what we were watching is we figured we started, hey Sean, what's up man? Figured we started a little differently. What are we watching? I know you want them to see it.
This is the preview for the upcoming Gundam Battle. Like a few episodes, like a short OVA, just highlighting some So, one of the ones everyone's really trying to get their hands on because a lot of these so a bunch of these ended up on shelves months in advance.
Oh, really? You can hear the stream? Oh, cool. We can hear it.
Okay,
Yes,
cool,
the stream.
good.
They can't.
Hear us.
Yeah.
All right, so let me go here, and we'll go down to here. All right,
Yeah, so Gundam Battlelog is a series. It's like an OVA,
Right.
which is like 10, 15-minute long episodes. And these are, it's not like a mainline Gundam series. It's basically like a long commercial to sell some of these model kits and to see like these model kits in cool fighting situations outside of the anime. And these are kind of hot right now because these were not supposed to come out right away, the model kits. But in America, Target kind of had a mix-up, and they got a bunch of their shipments early. So a bunch of these all over the country are ending up on shelves way, way early. Like the show hasn't even premiered yet, and people are already picking up the model kits. So if you guys got a Target local, you might want to pop in and check their areas and see if they have some of these model kits because they're going to go fast. And I know some people are scalping them pretty hard. So.
Well, with it reminds me of all the television shows, or not all, but a lot of television shows. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was designed for that reason.
Yeah.
Star Wars, look, they didn't even have the figures printed. You got a sheet of cardboard with the figures that were going to come later on.
Yeah.
So at least there's a legit kit that you can buy. So if you guys want to check this out, where will this be streaming? Where do you think?
This is going to be on the Gundam official YouTube, and I think they might be doing this on some streaming services like Crunchyroll and stuff too.
Okay.
But typically all the stuff goes right up on their YouTube channel. Because like I said, their main goal is to sell the toys, so it's pretty much just a long commercial. But it's really well animated. You'll get to see like a lot of crazy mobile suits in combat. These are all like variations of designs in the animation. Like that's the Gundam Helios. And it's kind of also a tie-in with the Gundam mobile game. Gundam Breaker is a mobile game, and a lot of these suits, you can play the game, and you can get those suits in the mobile game as well.
Okay. So if you want to check it out, guys, be sure to check out YouTube as well as other streaming sites. It says from October 2021.
Yeah,
so,
if you're in the Discord, post as well if you play the mobile game, and I'll give you my friend code.
What's that do?
We can battle together.
Oh, okay. All right, right on.
You can join the clan or something.
Well, we have a bunch of people chiming in. We are actually coming live from inside the expansion bay, changing up a little bit. Joe says, I got 2 of the ARC 78 US variants the other day.
Yes.
And very cool, Joseph. Glad to hear that. It's funny, I saw it on, the reason why I came into contact with it, because I saw it on, I think one of the reseller, like one of the Gundam sellers, they had posted about it. I'm like, wait a second, what? And so I went to Target's website. It's not available online.
No, their website's really slow to update. You kind of just got to go into the stores and hope to find them.
Okay. Yeah, for those of you who didn't know, Target does sell Gundam. It is there quite often, at least a few kits I've seen.
Their selection is like very, very limited. But like I said, they had a mix-up where they put this stuff out early. So some stores are putting out this stuff like, I think it's like 2 months in advance, earlier than they're supposed to. But hey, good for us. And if you got a Target nearby, pop in, check it out, and you might get lucky.
100%. So guys, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this evening, thank you for joining us for Let's Talk Gunpla with Uber's Cosplay. We've been trying to post about it accordingly. Just some friendly reminders about upcoming events and items here at Flynn's Arcade. First off, every Tuesday is $10 Tuesday, but the big thing is that we have our CrawCon on this Saturday, the 24th of September, 24th of October, with our friends or Sunday. Yeah, my bad. We always do events on Saturdays. That's why I was thinking Saturday. Sunday. October 24th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. It's everything board games. They're going to be doing board game exchange, tabletop gaming. I think some of the Warhammer guys might come out. Maybe some of the D&D people will come out. Some people will be selling board games. Our friends over at Board Game Crawler are going to be handling that. So come on out, guys. If you want to attend the little convention, it's just $5. And if you want to enjoy the arcade and the little convention, it's just $15 for the entire time it's open and the entire time we're open. So once again, that CrawCon is from 12 to 6 on Saturday. Sunday. I'm so used to saying Saturday.
It's fine.
So, also, Ben reminded me, this past Thursday, we had our first cosplay craft night alongside of our Gundam build night. We had a handful of people come out to do various cosplay crafting, sewing. I know, Ben, you were working on one of your suits.
Yeah, I was fixing up the Gundam Unicorn suit.
So Ben was working on his Gundam Unicorn. I know Ali was here working on stuff. Roxy was here working on stuff. We are going to do it once again, once a month, most likely, just to get started. Plenty of room, plenty of space, sturdy tables, and a lot of people brought all sorts of interesting tools. So we got that going on. I believe the next thing what we're going to do is just, if I look at the calendar real quick, I believe, it's going to be November 4th, which is the first Thursday in November. I believe that's the day we're going to shoot for, November 4th, and that's from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We say 10 p.m. to cut off, but really you can stay as late as you want. And the last thing, guys, is we are doing our Halloween Spooktacular Party on October 30th from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. We are having Chef Kisun come in as well. It's from Simuja, I think it's pronounced. They have an awesome ramen shop in Davie. They're coming in to do the ramen here, and a bunch of really cool stuff going on that evening. So that's September 30th from 5 p.m. to 2 a.m. here at Flynn's Arcade, once again using that expansion space also. So pretty much that brings you guys entirely up to speed with what's going on. I know Ben wanted to jump straight into that entry grade level that we were talking about.
Yes.
We had people mentioning that, so we're going to go straight over to camera 2.
So this is one of the kits that came out of Target. This is not one of the early release ones. This one is just kind of like a unique Target exclusive that came out. This is the RX-78-2 Gundam American type. It's the same kit we've had on here before, the entry grade Gundam, but it's just in a unique color scheme for the North American market. It has some different stickers and has a unique box art. You can see there. Like I said, only at Target. If you can find these, like at the stores, they go for $10. Do not pay scalper prices for them. I know some people online are selling them on eBay for $60 and stuff like that. Don't encourage that kind of thing. Just buy it in the wild if you can find it. I picked up 3, one for myself, one for my girlfriend, and one for one of the guys in the Discord that couldn't find one. If you guys are local, the Target on US 1 and Commercial has these, and the one on US 1 heading towards Glades has these as well. So if you're local and you haven't had a chance to pick one up, check out your local Target and you can hopefully pick one up. Just like the other entry grade we talked about, very simple build. I put this together in under an hour. The great thing about the entry grade is just it's designed for super ease of build and for quick build, and there's no real color accuracy changes on this. There are stickers on this kit, but that's the nature of its custom design. You get these stripes for the American flag on the shield. You also get some stars on the one shoulder, as well as a little like eagle logo. And then there's some red stickers on the back of the shoulder and this kind of red pinstripe around one of the thighs. But otherwise, the only thing that differentiates it between a normal entry grade RX-78 is the white, blue, and red color scheme. But it's pretty sharp looking, and it's very unique to have, and it's always nice to see America get some exclusives every now and then. So hopefully we get to see more of this stuff. And like I said, if you can pick this up, it's only $10. Great for a first timer. If you've never built a kit before, perfect kit to pick up. If you want to get something for maybe like a young kid or a friend who's never built a model kit before, perfect choice as well.
The great thing about entry grades, I don't know if you mentioned that, but the whole fact that no tools are necessary. Pretty much pop them out of the runner.
The entry grades it is recommended to use nippers, but you can get these out of the runners with something as simple as like a...
Does it come with a tool?
No, it does not come with a tool.
Okay.
But you can get like a pair of toenail clippers would work, or a hobby knife, or anything special like that. You don't need anything more than maybe, if you wanted to go a little extra detail, maybe a panel liner, maybe some sandpaper. The most I did to this guy was just cut him out of the runner, sand down a few of the nubs, and put the stickers on. But yeah, looks really, really good. And like I said, it's nice to have an exclusive for the North American market. So hopefully we see more stuff like this.
And how long would you say? I know when the entry grades are pretty easy, the barrier of entry is pretty easy.
Anywhere in time, you're looking for anywhere for half an hour to an hour tops to put this together. Very, very simple build.
Nice.
And like I said, the great thing about the entry grade is the color accuracy is very well molded. Like even the little tiny red V on that crotch armor is an individually molded piece. That's not a sticker. Same thing with the little blue V-Press gem is its own color. You don't have to put a sticker on that. The only stickers on this, like I said, are the ones that make it unique, the North American type, the stars and stripes and all that stuff.
We have some comments coming in. Blanche also said that Target did the same thing with the Todd McFarlane Warhammer figures, where they released them early.
Yeah, I saw some of those on the shelf, but I'm not really a Warhammer guy, so I didn't grab one.
Israel even said that he saw some as well at Target, and then Varun, how you doing, man? Yo. So if you guys are looking for this exclusive, Target has it. By all means, go out and search in the wild. Like Ben says, when I found out about it, I immediately just Googled it, went to Google Shopping, looked for it, and you're spot on. Most of these people are selling this thing for 4, 5, 6 times the amount.
Yeah, don't pay scalper prices. Just try to find in the wild. It's $10. Even if you're like an absolutist in terms of collection, I don't think an entry grade is worth more than $20. Do not pay $60 for an entry grade.
So what other suits may we see in this whole, the battle log stuff that they're coming out with?
In the battle log stuff, a lot of it is suits that existed already. Like they have the 00 Quant, which is Setsuna's suit from the movie, but it's this 00 Quant command type. So it's a different color scheme. It's got different kind of weaponry. Are you familiar with the Death Scythe from Gundam Wing, the big demonic one? They've got that, but it's called the Live Lance Heaven, where it's like an angel version of the Death Scythe. So it's a lot of weird stuff like that. This shows up in the battle log as like a statue in North America, which would be really cool if we could get a Gundam statue in North America. I'm not sure if everyone would dig the stars and stripes all over it, but still, it would be neat. But yeah, this one does appear in the battle log, albeit only briefly, and I don't think it's shown in combat.
And this game, or better yet, this film, it looks like, is it kind of like they build the robots and they fight during a contest? Or is it like a Build Divers kind of thing?
It's like, it's related to the Build Fighters universe, but it's its own thing. Like it's supposed to take place in like our timeline, and it's people play this game based on their model kits.
Okay.
And it's a big tie-in, like I said, with the mobile Gundam Breaker game, which has been out for like 2 years now. I've been playing it like every single day. But it's a neat game because it's like you get all these different parts, and you can make your own mobile suit with these different parts, give your own color scheme to them. You can fight in clans, you can fight missions, and all kinds of stuff. So I've been playing that game every single day since it came out.
So if you like that game, guys, what was it called again?
Gundam Breaker Mobile.
There you go, Gundam Breaker Mobile. Is it like a pay to win?
No, I mean, I've never really paid anything for it. If you really wanted to get like an absolute collection, you might have to pay some stuff for it, but it's like, I've got like all of the Wing Zero custom parts, and I got that from just like free random capsules. You get like free stuff every single day, and they're very generous with like the free stuff. I've never paid for anything.
Cool. All right, Varun says, entry grade is very articulated. I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I used one for the last contest, cheap starter to custom paint. Yeah, 100%. I mean, because you're going to show side-by-side comparison of what a high grade, it is the scale of a high grade.
Yes, this is the same scale as a high grade. The only thing to keep in mind is entry grades are very bare bones. What you see here is all you get. There are no beam sabers, there's no additional weaponry, no bazooka. It's just a beam rifle, the shield, and I think 2 extra hands, and that's it. There's nothing else. It's as simple could be. And there are more kits coming out in the entry grade line. I know we've got more of the original color scheme pre-ordered. We've got some of the newest one coming out, which is the Strike Gundam from Gundam Seed, is getting an entry grade lineup as well. And there are entry grade ones coming out too with like more weapons that actually have the sabers and stuff like that. It's like an additional pack.
Cool.
So you will see more of these inside the store here.
Sweet. Israel says He's got a question. So what's a good, since you mentioned panel liners, what's a good panel liner, liquid or marker for real grid kits?
You can use Tamiya weathering, which is like the Tamiya panel liner, which is very, very thin, and it's like a bottle.
It's like
and
a well,
tiny
right?
little brush, yeah. Those are really good, but a little bit hard for beginners. If you're just getting into it, something like a Sakura micron pen or just a regular Gundam marker, a fine black one or maybe a gray one, is more than enough to do just about any model kit. And regardless of the grade, everything is designed to where the crevices where the panel lines will go is the size for a Gundam marker. So this will, like a Gundam marker will work just as well on this as it would like a high grade or a master grade or something like that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I've seen people use like a Sharpie marker where what they'll do is they'll like press down, or maybe a marker, or maybe a Gundam marker where they'll press down and the ink will just run.
That's a Gundam marker, yeah. A Gundam marker, like you have inkwell types, and it's just like a calligraphy pen, like where you break the well inside, and as you push it down, you get ink out. And then people will sometimes apply that with a paintbrush or a little eyedropper, stuff like that. There's really no wrong way to do it. Find the way that works best for you. I always prefer to use Sakura pens because I kind of like the hard line style. But it's really up to your own taste.
And then to remove it, I was just using a white eraser or a Q-tip or even my finger, to get it gone.
If it's still wet, a white eraser will move it off. If it's already dried, like a little bit of isopropyl alcohol will take it off. So if you make a mistake or you're not happy with the way it looks, it's easy to remove. Just a little alcohol and a Q-tip or something will take it right off.
Cool. And also when it comes to panel lining, when you mentioned black and gray, if you want a more drastic look on a white kit, the black will obviously pop a lot more.
I personally always prefer the black, but like if you're doing a kit that say has a lot of yellow parts, a lot of people like to use brown to highlight on the yellow because it looks less harsh. Mm-hmm. Or a lot of people like to use gray because it looks like less hard lines. I tend to prefer the models to look like they do in animation, so I like to have really hard edges. But like I said, it's up to your own aesthetic. And here in the arcade, you actually have quite a few Gundam markers for sale. So I know you have the black ones. I think we have some of the browns as well. So if you guys wanted to pick
metallic.
Yeah, we have a lot of the metallic ones, which are good for doing details.
And I believe they are $3.50
yeah.
plus tax.
But yeah, it's a very small investment, and like one or two markers can go a long way to making your kits have a lot more personality.
100%. And then like a little top coat, make them matte, and then boom.
Yeah, a little top coat, and then you get good to go.
Cool. What else you got in store for us?
All right, so as a bit of a contrast, I'll just move this guy to the back end. And this is another kit we have. This is one you guys actually have for sale here in the arcade. This is the Gundam RX-72 Beyond Global. This is a high-grade kit. Let's see if I can get this in front of the camera. Too far back.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Yeah. And you guys have this here on sale for $25. As you can see here, it's the same scale, and it's the same mobile suit, but it's a drastically different take on design. The Beyond Global is not how the Gundam looked in any kind of animation. This is just them pushing what they can do with a high grades mobility as far as they can. So if you remember a few months ago, I had like the Revive Char Zaku here.
Yes.
And I was kind of jokingly calling it the JoJo pose Zaku because of how posable it was. It had really nice flexible wrists. Well, this is basically the companion to that in terms of its flexibility. You just pop off some of these parts on them. Take off the shield. But like all the joints are really well articulated. He's even got like this extension gimmick in the wrist so he can get a really deep expressive bend in his elbow. And it's the same thing on the thighs. His thighs have like a 3-joint mechanism to where you can have him doing like a mid-air dashing style pose. And it's neat because it folds out and then back in as well. Let me just pop that off and see if I can get the joint visible. The joint also has this hinge mechanism so that it can actually sit completely flat on the ground if it wanted to. Or you could have it like perched on a computer monitor or any kind of which way you want it. And the kit's able to hold that pose very well. It's also got a really deep ab crunch as well. You can see how the entire body shifts up. Same thing with the shoulder. The whole entire shoulder mechanism folds out.
And up,
from the
right?
torso. And up, yes. He can lift his arm all the way up over his head. but it's a very flexible, very unique take on the Gundam. I like it because it has like a very slimmed down, especially in the legs, look to it. Like it's almost got kind of like a feminine proportion to it, which I like quite a bit. It is pretty bare bones in the terms of accessories. All it comes with is the standard beam rifle, the standard classic Gundam shield, 2 beam sabers, and 2 alternate fists. But it's a very nice kit, almost master grade level in some of the different moving parts it has. Even when you move the knee, it has that segmented armor section for the knee, which is something you typically only see on like master grade kits. And I believe it even has a gimmick for the chest crunch. Yeah, like, I don't know how well you can see it, but the cockpit here is actually hinged separately from the rest of the torso. So it moves as like 3 different segments. And just like the entry grade, very, very good color accuracy on this. The only sticker is a tiny one for the eyes. There are no stickers anywhere else on this kit.
Do you need to use the eye sticker? Like it's not colored at all?
It's recommended to use it because I don't think the eyes, it's going to be difficult to see them otherwise. But you could just as easily paint the detail in because it is like its own molded piece. But yeah, a very, very nice take on the original Gundam. And like I said, a very good price point here too. $25, and this is probably one of the most expressive versions of the Gundam in this scale you can pick up.
What would you like to see the next kit be made in the similar style, like similar technique to make super expressive?
I'd like to see like this, like maybe a GM, like the stripped down.
Yeah.
Or maybe even go further, like maybe the gun cannon, because this guy's kind of slim. If they could do the gun cannon in like a heavy, stocky look, it would be a nice contrast. But this is kind of like the thing where I mentioned is every couple of years, there's never like a definitive version of the Gundam. Every few years they return to it and they revamp it, or a different artist takes a stab at it and does his take on it. Like there was another one that came out around the same time that is called the, I think it was called the G30, which is like a heavy industrial designed Gundam.
Right.
Like where all the joints are super like rounded and flexible. We haven't picked that one up here. Yeah, G30 Gundam.
Let's see if we can find a picture real quick.
Images.
Images. Which one?
I'm not seeing it come up. I might be getting the name of it wrong.
G30 Gundam?
Yeah, that's not the one. I might be getting the name wrong.
But nonetheless, you would like to see. But now, could they apply the same tech to larger kits?
This level of
larger grades?
This level of flexibility you're seeing in the high grade Revive line, especially like the Zaku's that are coming out. So pretty much any of the newer high grades are going to have high levels of posability. Maybe not quite as good as this, but it's definitely getting up there. Like with the Zaku, they implemented that whole thing where they had the rubber skirt parts.
Yes.
So you could do that really high kick. Stuff like that I like a lot in these kits. But yeah, the Beyond Global is definitely a good one to pick up. I have various versions of the original Gundam, and I still wanted to pick up this guy just because the posability of it was so nice.
I also like the muted color.
Yeah, it's kind of got like the Master Grade 1 Year War version where the colors are slightly muted, maybe a little more realistic, a little easier on the eyes. Maybe some people don't like the super bright animation style colors. These are a nice contrast.
Cool.
Yeah, but a very nice kit. Definitely, I think I'm gonna have this guy fighting my real grade Zeon.
And once again, guys, if you're new to the hobby, this is a high grade.
Yeah, this is a high grade, so it's the same scale as the entry grade. They're both 1/144 scale. It's just in terms of complexity, this one is very simple, designed for maybe first-time builders. This one can still be picked up by first-time builders. It's not that complicated, but it's a little more intensive of a build. You're looking at maybe an hour, maybe 2, and a lot more parts, smaller parts, things like that. But you get more accessories out of it. But that's why this one is $10 and this one is $25. That's the difference you're paying in price. But if you were to put these guys on the shelf next to each other, like I said, they look just fine. They're in scale with one another. It just looks like maybe this is the standard and maybe this is like a special forces one or something like that.
Cool. I always enjoy the high grade kits with high articulation and mobility. It's more expressive, and the fact that it's matte means you don't have to do it yourself later on down the road.
And the good thing is like they're model kits, but they're also toys. They're fun to pick up and play around with. I like just when I'm building them, seeing how the different parts move and how the joints interact. Just like the hip joint on this thing, I think is so neat. I think that's so well engineered and so creative how it's put together and how expressive it's able to be just because of that.
For plastic.
Yeah, just for like something plastic that I put together. You know, I actually put this together in a hotel room when I was out in North Carolina for work. So didn't need anything fancy to do it, just a pair of clippers and some sandpaper.
You brought it back with you.
Yeah, gave me something to do when I was chilling out in the hotel that night.
Nice.
But very nice model kit.
Well, guys, we have it here. If you want to pick it up, by all means. Sean says, I like to use gray on white colors and brighter colors, blacks on darker colors. Oh, okay, so you're referring to the panel lining.
Yeah, he's referring to the panel lining.
Panel lining, definitely. Panel lining is always kind of like one of those touchy things. I would say a person who's getting into the hobby. I met someone yesterday who had come in because they literally just started. I think he said he just bought his third kit or something like that, and now he's going for perfect grades, you know, and going for very large kits. I think he came by and he picked up 2 master grade kits.
It's not impossible. I mean, my second model kit was a master grade model kit, and I was building perfect grades not long after that. It's just if you're looking to like bring your craft up and you're looking to take Gundam to the next level, and maybe you've only straight build kits, the easiest and simplest way to make your kits look better is a simple panel liner. So don't be afraid, like I said, to get in there with a simple kit and do some panel lining, because like I said, for a $3 investment, you can really make your kits look a lot better. Even just like a simple panel line job, like just like this real great Sazabi. This real great Sazabi is an out-of-box build, nothing special. It's just the stickers and some panel lining. And just the panel lining and the stickers make it look...
I could imagine the sticker application probably took forever.
I think it was like a 2-day thing because the real grades have a lot. But that's just that little thing adds so much more.
Oh, this is a real grade?
This is a real grade. Just that little thing adds so much more to the kit.
No, heck yeah, it does.
Yeah, just a little bit of panel lining.
But it was transfers, or was it...
No, these are all just stickers. No heat transfers, no nothing. The only thing special about real grades in terms of stickers is they have these little metallic ones every now and then, but they're just regular stickers all the same.
Real grades.
Yeah. So go ahead and switch back while I move this chunky boy.
So once again, guys, if you have the ability to get into the hobby, to start wherever you feel comfortable. Varun, Eddie, one day we will speak about the benefits of gloss clear coat versus matte.
Yeah,
no, I always do. I don't like it looking shiny. Like, I don't like it to look like a toy.
It depends on the suit. Some things look better in that style than others do. Like, particularly like very regal looking enemy suits, I find tend to look good with a gloss coat, whereas most Gundams and the grunts tend to look better in a flat coat. And speaking of regal looking suits, this guy barely fits in the frame. Let me see if I can adjust that camera a bit.
Down just a little bit.
There we go. That's about as good as that's going to get. This is the MSN 042 Nightingale. This is probably one of the biggest high-grade kits out there right now. Probably the only thing really bigger would be like the Psycho Gundam. This is Char's mobile suit from the novel version of Char's Counterattack. We've talked about Char's Counterattack a lot. It was the movie, it was the culmination of the fight between Char and Amuro. Just to do a little setup, Char and Amuro's rivalry starts in 0079 in the One Year War. This is years later, it's 0093. They're both adults now. They're both veterans, and they're both very, very bitter and torn up about all the horrible things they've done to each other over the years. And Char has decided he's going to throw the Earth back to the Ice Age with a nuclear winter to force everyone to move off of Earth and into space, because people on Earth are stubborn, they're only concerned about themselves, all they do is eat up the Earth's resources, and he thinks by forcing people to move into space, they will evolve into new types like him and Amuro and be able to understand each other. But of course, the obvious problem is if new types can understand each other so well, why are him and Amuro fighting for 15 years over a woman who died? So, but in the novelization, is actually quite a bit different from what ended up getting animated in the movie. In the movie, it's the Sazabi piloted by Char versus Amuro's new gun. In the novelization, Char is piloting this mobile suit called the Nightingale. It's barely even a mobile suit, as you can tell just by the size of it alone. And just for comparison's sake, I'll put this guy in here on the stand with this guy.
No, these
are both in the same scale.
So this is legit. So if they were in real life, this would be the size comparison.
This would be how much bigger the Nightingale was.
That seems like an unfair advantage.
It's the Nightingale is more of a mobile armor, really, than a mobile suit.
So it could take a beating.
It can take a beating. It can dish out punishment, and do not let the size confuse you. This is not a slow mobile suit. This thing is monstrously fast. It was on par with Amuro's High New Gundam, which was like the pinnacle of technology at this point in the timeline. But yeah, let me just move that guy off of here. But yeah, in the novelization, which like I said is a lot different from the movie, instead of Char piloting the Sazabi, he's piloting the Nightingale, and Amuro, instead of piloting the new Gundam, is piloting the High New Gundam. And what this is kind of like a culmination of Char's personal fighting style. Like, Char is a leader of the Neo-Zeon faction, but he's not the type to sit in the back in a spaceship commanding an army. He leads his army from the front. And to fight a battle at the front lines, you need to have the biggest, baddest, toughest suit, because they're going to be a high priority target. So naturally, this suit is incredibly heavily armed, and incredibly fast. For weaponry, this is a new type weapon. So because Char is a psychic, he has these remote-controlled little funnels. He has 5 on each one of these shoulders, and these are basically miniaturized version of the Alpha Aziru's funnels from the Char's Counterattack movie. The Alpha Aziru was like a giant mobile weapon with these powerful little.
Where do they find all the money to make these things?
Well, they kind of never explain that.
They just exploit people?
Because Zeon is in space, you know what I mean? They don't exactly have a lot of resources to mine, but the idea is they pull all these asteroids out of the asteroid belt and mine them out, and that's where they're getting all these materials.
So this civilization, I'm assuming, is kind of like a monarchy.
Well, the whole deal with Char is his father, Casval Daikun, was the leader of Zeon, and he was assassinated by the Zabi family, and the Zabi family took the Republic and turned it into a dictatorship.
Okay, so it's not even a monarchy, it's a dictatorship.
No. And the whole point of the 1 Year War is Char is fighting in the Zeon army, not to fight for Zeon. He's doing it to get revenge on the Zabi family. Like, throughout the course of the story, he's one by one killing off all the members of the Zabi family because he wants revenge for them killing his father. So at this point, he's not even calling himself Char Aznavour anymore. He calls himself Casval Daikun. He's taken back the name of his father, and he's like, I'm fighting for what Zeon really was. That's at least his idea. In actuality, he's trying to, like I said, throw Earth into a nuclear winter. He doesn't care how many people are getting killed in the process. And the big crux between him and Amuro is like, yeah, the people on Earth are stupid and they have their problems and everything, but that doesn't give you a right to be judge, jury, and executioner for the entire human
genocide.
race. Right. It's like there's nothing you can do to justify that. And really what it ends up being is it's less about Char's ideals and more about he just wanted to settle the score with Amuro, and everything he had done and built up to that point was just so he could fight Amuro on an even playing field. But anyway, more about the mobile suit itself. This is a gigantic hybrid kit. Like, let's go back to the other camera and I can show you the box. This box is giant. This is like as big as this is bigger than most master grade boxes.
Yes, it is.
I think it's like
master grade's like half of that.
Yeah, it's almost the size of a perfect grade box. But I didn't pick this kit up here. We have this still on pre-order, but this kit is like usually over like $100 at some places. Usually just because like the shipping costs they have to pay for the size of it. But it's an entirely new mold. The only pieces in this that are reused from many other kits are just some of the effect parts for the beam sabers. These are effect parts that are kind of old now. They're from the Shinanju high grade, and Bandai has gotten a lot of life out of these. These axe parts get reprinted everywhere. But everything else on here, like these giant binders for the shoulder, this humongous tailpiece, those are all molded as single pieces, and they're very, very lightweight. So despite its size, it's actually able to hold these up very, very well. This is not the first time the Nightingale has been made into a model kit, which is kind of unusual because a few years ago you would have never thought to see this model kit even get made because it's so unusual in the design. It previously got released as an RE1100 kit, which is like a master grade scale high grade. So it's even bigger than this. But the RE100 was kind of a different take on the design. Like it still has this look, but this is much more accurate to the artwork that the designer made for the novel.
Okay.
Like if you were to compare it, the RE100 is a bit more slim. These pieces, even though the scale of the other one is like twice the size, they're about the same scale. Like they're about the same size, just because it changes in the design. And even though this is a high grade, and you see how it has these sub arms on the bottom holding a lightsaber, the RE100, even though it's a bigger kit, did not have that ability. And also some joints were loose. Not a bad kit by any stretch of the word, just, you know, not really what people were looking for when they wanted something of the Nightingale kit. And this is also kind of released as a companion to the upcoming, actually it's already out, the RE High New Gundam, which is the same scale, but it's an RG, so the detail is different. But this is as close as you're ever going to get to that kind of detail in a model kit. A surprising amount of gimmicks are built into this. You saw how the funnels are.
Yeah, the funnels come off.
The funnels are all able to come off. I'm willing to bet there's going to be like a P Bandai exclusive effect part set
Like a stand.
for those to like shoot off. Unfortunately, the back of the funnels, as far as I'm aware, these are not compatible with any existing effect part set. So that's what leads me to believe there's going to be some kind of exclusive one. Like you can't take the existing ones and fit them there.
Like a beam there or something.
Yeah, so I imagine there's a one coming. It's probably just a little ways down the road.
Man, there it is. They're looking. Well, because when was this kit released? What year?
Only like 2 months ago. This is a fairly new kit.
Oh, so they're really thinking like, how can they exploit it?
Right. And as for gimmicks, if you had to pick one word to like describe this design, I think it would be overburdened.
Yes.
Because
definitely.
it's so heavy, like the legs are barely able to even be straight because it's like carrying so much weight of it.
It's like a dwarf.
Yeah. But underneath it, you can see there's these two giant fuel tanks underneath it as well. And these are articulated. He's also got this foot that comes out of the tail to have it stand up on a flat surface.
No, that wasn't in the show or the novel.
No, yeah, it's in the designs. Because like when it's had to stand on, because normally this is fighting in space. So gravity and weight's not really an issue. But when it has to land on a ship or a surface like a planetoid, it needs something to hold up the skirt. And all these fuel tanks, this is why I'm saying this is no slouch in terms of speed. These can be ejected during battle once they're emptied out. So it's not carrying around all that excess weight from those fuel tanks. But the legs are fully posable, and each one of these like toe sections can move. So it actually does have a high degree of posability despite what you might think with the way it looks. Even the legs able to move, and that's both of them. And like I said, it also has these hidden sub-arms that fold away underneath the skirt. So it can do like sneak attacks with these two sabers. And those are fully articulated. In the head actually has a few gimmicks. Because as you might imagine, this thing is it's supposed to be really, really fast with all these thrusters all over it. So the head kind of sinks into the torso for like kind of a high speed mode. And then when it's actually in battle, it kind of comes forward on this hinge. And it can look around really well despite this huge fin coming off it. But it also has a neat gimmick in that the cockpit actually opens.
Cool.
The pilot in this case, Shar, is not sitting in the torso. He's sitting in this tiny little ball at the head. So if you see that little tiny ball, that's where a person sits. So you can get an idea of how big this thing would be in real life. It also has this in the stomach, a megaparticle cannon, which is the same thing that the Sazabi has. Now I believe in the original novel design it did not have that. It was kind of just added in future media and model kits and things like that. But then it also has this giant beam shot rifle. In the story, this rifle alone is like comparable to power of like a mega bazooka launcher, but it will fire 3 different kinds of shots. It'll fire a very tightly focused, high precision piercing shot. It'll fire a large bazooka style shot, or it'll fire like a spread shot, like a shotgun. And it can also extend a bipod from the front. So like if he was in space and he was setting up a long distance shot from an asteroid, he could set up this bipod. Yeah. In terms of things you get with this kit, other than what you see here, let me just take these boosters off for a second. These little fuel tanks. You also get this giant beam tomahawk giant sword piece that comes on it. If you want to, you can also use the beam effect parts that came from the Shinanju for the 2 individual axes. The 2 shorter axes, you get 4 options for beam sabers. You get these ones, which are the beam sabers from a master grade. You get 2 of those for the sub arms, or for the forearms, whatever you want to hold them in. And then you get these 2 smaller ones, but they have kind of like an effect on them to make them look a little more angry, like they have some definition to them. And then you also get 4 sets of hands for holding the different weaponry. And you get a few stickers as well. I haven't put any on here, but you get like a large emblem for the shield. You get like Char's emblem, which is like a song note for the skirt. And the only color correction stickers on here are these ones on the back skirt. There are some small orange ones and some small black ones in these back thrusters.
We had a couple questions come in, Ben. I want to get to them before people jump off.
Sure.
So we have Varun. I'll come back to the comments and then we'll go to the questions. So Baptiste023 says, how much does this or how much would the model cost, or how much did it cost?
I think I was at Tate's. Let's see, what did I pay for this?
They usually put the price on the
The
front.
price tag is gone. I might have taken enough to hide it from my girlfriend.
Do you remember what it? Do you remember roughly?
I think it was $90-something.
Okay, so with tax, you're talking like
It's like
almost
$100.
$100.
It's like $100, but this is like as big as a high grade is ever going to get for the most part. Like the only high grade that's bigger than this is probably the Psycho Gundam.
What about the Penelope? Isn't Penelope another one?
This is bigger than the Penelope, easily.
Dang.
Penelope's big, but still not as big as this guy.
It's about $100 plus or minus.
But the downside of this one is it's very stable. Like nothing feels like it's going to be floppy, but just the size alone, it's difficult to find somewhere to put this thing. Like I have no space in my shelves to put it, so since I bought it, it's pretty much been in a box. I'm going to have to figure out some other way to display it. But
Yeah, because it's not fitting in like a display case.
yeah, I mean, I'd have to clear out an entire level to fit it. But still, very, very, very unique looking suit, and definitely one that people have been waiting for in this scale for a long time. And I think a lot of people that are like jumping on the high grade new, the real grade high new Gundam are going to want this as a companion piece, because this is one that has always been seen in artwork and stuff like that, but never showed up in animation. It's kind of like almost infamous just for like how heavy and crazy and overblown the design was. But it's really, really gorgeous, and it's so unique, and it's so sinister looking. It looks like some kind of like monstrous dragon or something.
Varun said, Char's Counterattack manga is going to be on sale in the US next year.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is like I said, originally this only showed up in the novel, but it's shown up in like Super Robot Wars, the games, and other stuff like that. In the novel, it's just this is the suit he had. In the manga, this is treated like an upgrade to the Sazabi. Like the Sazabi and the new Gundam are fighting, and then they both get beaten at one point or they damaged. And the new Gundam gets taken away and repaired and upgraded into the high new Gundam, and the same thing happens to the Sazabi, and it's upgraded into the Nightingale. And you can kind of see some of that, like in the shield and everything like that. That's just the Sazabi shield. But like I said, in the novel, it was its own suit. It wasn't like built from the Sazabi or anything like that. It was its own lineage. But in most games, it's treated like the former. It's treated like this is destroyed and upgraded into the Nightingale later. But looking at it, like you can see, is like the only thing that's really sheer between them is the shield. Like the most that you could say is maybe the Sazabi gets melted down and the same metal gets used. Otherwise, there's nothing similar about them other than the color scheme and maybe some of the weapon layout.
No, definitely a huge upgrade.
Yeah, definitely. The high new Gundam, even that, like it has some different weaponry and some of the armor's changed around, but it looks like that would be a natural progression. Like maybe it was just the suit upgraded.
Yeah.
Not so with the Nightingale and the Sazabi.
And Varun raised a good point. He says, buy to check out the Nightingale in action and support more Gundam manga in the US. Because, if we don't buy it here, they're going to be like, oh, they don't care about it.
Yeah.
So let's not make any more. Man, that's a lot, bro. That's. And how much time in do you have?
Oh, this one was like at least a day and a half. It's a simple build. Like there's nothing particularly complicated about it. Even these large sections, this is only a few parts to keep it light. And like this giant tail piece, this is on like the biggest runner I think I've ever seen for a single part. It's one runner just for this giant red tail skirt piece. But like I said, it's a very simple build. It's designed to have even like the pegs where it connects the torso to the body is like very, very thick and chunky. Like it's designed to be tough because they don't want this thing to fall apart under its own weight. You can see how thick that peg is. Yeah, and just you can see like all the detail underneath with all the different thruster bells. But even it's a very few parts, and you can kind of see too is the binders. They're on like a ratcheting joint, so they lock in really, really well, and you can move them in all directions. You can even have it folded back like this if you have them like maybe like a folded away or high speed mode. They'll fold away like that, and they all hold very securely. Like nothing flops around. He's actually pretty darn secure. Yeah.
So we have Baptiste also 023 asks, are you going to have this in store?
We do have this on order. I think it's part of our December order, so it's still a ways away. I have to double check that. You can hit me up in the Discord after the fact, and I can check the date specifically. But we do have a couple of these coming in. I think we only have like 4 of them on order because they're so big. They don't fit many in a box.
And we also have, he asked, is the build, or they, I don't know who it is the build similar to the, can you look at that, Kshatriya?
The Kshatriya?
Model? Yeah.
It's similar in that the Kshatriya has like these giant pieces as well. But the Kshatriya is a kit that's like over a decade old at this part. At this point.
Really?
Yeah, the Kshatriya is kind of an older kit now. This is a more advanced, more challenging kit. Like I said, similar in the size of some parts, but they're pretty different. I would say this is probably a simpler build overall, but neither one of them is particularly challenging as far as a high grade goes, in my opinion.
So if someone purchased this particular high grade, there's really no hand grenades they need to look out for.
The main issue is where you're going to put it. That's the main challenge.
Okay.
And plus, the design, as much as I like it, I realize it's not for everyone. This is from an era in mecha design when things were getting really, really outlandish. Especially like in that period of the 80s. Like every design was like a little crazier. Gundam was like, it was every other designer in the world was trying their hand at doing Gundam. Like you had guys from Pat Labor doing designs. You had, Kondo, the guy who did the Dragon's Heaven manga, was doing designs and things like that. All kinds of different people were trying their hand at Gundam. And you got some really outlandish designs. So this might not be for everyone. This aesthetic is really, really unique. You may like it, you may not, but I think it looks really unique on a shelf. I like it because it's one of those designs as a Gundam fan you always saw, and even like you weren't familiar with what it was from, you're like, oh, that's really crazy. What is this from? When the heck does Char pilot that thing? And you heard about it from the novels and stuff, and for the longest time, like the novels weren't translated. You had no idea. It was just like, oh, it's some secondhand story of some guy online. But like Varun says, now more and more of this stuff is coming out in America. Gundam is a lot easier to get, like in model kits and stuff like that. The community is very active. There's people doing fan translations, scanlations of stuff. Tons and tons of online communities. Build groups like ours, they're all over the place. So it's the best time now to be a Gundam fan, for sure, because it's way, way different than it was when I started, when it was only a couple of us, maybe in like our high school, that knew what Gundam even was.
It reminds me a lot of that Bound Doc.
Similar design, yeah. And
yeah, right?
That was another one that's kind of outlandish, which is like I really like, but I realize that most people probably are like, oh, what's this weird looking?
How do you pronounce it? Or how do you spell it?
Bound Doc.
So bound like that?
Yeah, DOC.
DOC.
There you go.
There you go. I'll let you guys see what I'm referring to.
That's one of the ones by Kondo, who is one of these designers that did the Dragon's Heaven manga.
No.
I mean, that's all the same suit, but it's different takes on the design.
There you go. How do we open it and do? Oh, there you go. It's like, where's the
you can see what I mean, where it's just like some of these designs may not be for everyone because there's such a unique take on the formula.
Yeah.
Like it's only vaguely humanoid. You know what I mean? But I like that. I like having these things.
Was this from the same era?
It was from the same era, and then it was made in the 80s, but different era in terms of different technology. Like that was from 0087 and 88. This one is from 0093. So it's only a few years difference, but like in Gundam, technology increases exponentially. So like a suit from a few years ago, this would have been hopelessly outclassed in that kind of battlefield.
See, that's the great thing about model building and Gundam in general is that you can pretty much, they have everything for all types of flavors and whatever you want. You can find something that you're into and the scale and the intricacy, or if you want something to do a straight build, hey, that looks crazy. I mean, the fact that there's not a lot of stickers or decals for this one, right?
No, but this is one that I definitely want to paint up. And this is one where, like the guys mentioned, the matte coat versus gloss. This in like a chrome, like with all bright, shiny red. Because like I said, Char is not just a soldier. He's the leader of this entire army. So you're at the front. It's like you have to be like, let's go. You have to have
it's like the horse with the shiny armor, you know?
It's like, aim for that guy.
Right.
But you have to be that way because you're leading your guys from the front. And that's what motivates this entire army is look at our leader's not sitting in the back or some politician. He's right here on the front with us. You know what I mean?
No, that's pretty dope.
That's what always separated Char and Amuro. Amuro, even in Char's counterattack, where he's like been a veteran for like 15 years at this point, he's just a soldier. Like he's still taking commands from people. He's still just, more or less just a regular guy. Whereas Char has like embraced his heritage. He's like, okay, my father was a politician. I'm going to take on like the responsibility of my birthright. I'm going to lead this charge. Kind of comes up short. He's never really able to live up to that expectation he sets for himself. But it's just that dichotomy between the two characters is what keeps that rivalry going, even now, 40 years later.
Sean says, what about the Dendrobium?
The Dendrobium, I think that's probably has the record for the biggest high grade. The Dendrobium is like a Gundam with a shoebox on its back filled with missiles. Yeah, Dendrobium's a kind of flower. Yeah.
I was like, that doesn't look like
images.
Doesn't look like
that's a giant model kit.
Let's go over.
That's in high grade, and just to give you an example, like I said, this little guy is that guy in the front, and then that giant thing behind him. That's like I think like 2 or 3 feet long, just a cannon.
This.
Yeah. You can't really see it in that photo, but the Gundam docks with that, and it's like a huge supplementary weapon system. The idea is it's designed to defend bases. Yeah, you can see it in that picture, like the little Gundam down there in the tiny center.
Oh, Miles, there you are.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't even fit on the screen.
I'm under attack by a Gundam-sized shoebox.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That's from 0083 Stardust Memory. It's basically like Gundam meets Top Gun.
So do all the kits have these like elaborate rigs that they're kind of locking into in this series?
No, this was kind of there are a lot of suits that do this, but this was kind of unique. Even the original Gundam did this. Like it had something called the G armor, where it would dock with a tank and a fighter jet into like a weird armor thing, and it was so weird they cut it out of the movies. Like they just said, okay, that doesn't exist. It's just the G fighter. But it was kind of one of those leftovers from when I said like, remember Tomino was trying to tell a story, but the company was trying to sell toys.
Yeah.
Well, the number one thing with toys is you got to buy this toy, then you buy the tank and the jet, and then you combine them into a bigger toy. It doesn't make any sense on a battlefield to have your jet combined with a tank and then a giant robot. How the heck is that going to work?
When everyone gets destroyed.
Well, whatever. They wanted people to buy toys, and like I said, it was such a thing that it got cut out of the movie. But yeah, and it's just like this. It's like the Orcus in this image is designed for base defense. So it's like a Gundam with all these missiles and stuff because it's a one-man army. It's designed to fight off like an attacking army by itself.
Varun says, Unicorn episode 4 begs to differ about old suits being outclassed.
They did lose that battle, Varun, and very badly. There's an episode in Unicorn where it's like, Unicorn is 0096. So the 1 year war was like almost 20 years ago.
Right.
Actually, Benager, like the main character, was born at like the tail end of the war. So he's already like almost an adult. And there's this big battle in Torrington, which is a base in Australia. And it's a Federation base, and all these old Xeon suits that are like left over on the Earth for like 20-something years are coming out of woodwork because Neo Xeon is like, hey, we're going to give the feds one last fight. And all these old dudes get their suits together, and they all attack Torrington. And they do well for a little bit until like the surprise of why is this museum attacking us wears off, and then and then they all get very promptly destroyed. So as cool as it was to see those old suits rocking around, they did all end up getting destroyed by the end of that battle.
So there you go, Varun.
And most of it by a single Bylarant pilot.
By one person.
Well, not one guy alone, but like one guy alone took down like a lot of them.
Okay.
But hard work and effort will only go so far when you're in a machine that's 20 years old. It would be like taking like a Mustang GT Cobra on something like a track nowadays. Yeah, you might go like 160 miles an hour or something like that, but then the guy comes out with like the supercar with a ceramic plated engine. It's like, well, there was only 20 something years between those two or something like that. Yeah, but that thing's gonna smoke you.
Yeah. One looks cooler than the other.
Horsepower isn't everything.
Right. Handling, and also like if you're in an accident, what happens to the driver? There's no seatbelts.
Yeah, it's like you roll in one of those old cars and it's like you're gone. You know what I mean? In like a modern car where it's like got crumple zones and like a roll cage in it, it's gonna be a different story.
No, 100%. Cool, man. Well, this is a lot to take in. You showed various kits of various sizes for people to get into. We will be having some of these kits come in, like you said, I believe in December shipment. And we've been getting asked a lot also about like when new kits come in and all sorts of things. Because you guys are probably aware of what's going on in the ports and delays in shipments and all that sort of stuff.
Across the board, regardless of what you're doing, there's big delays on shipping and everything because, like you say, there's stuff stuck in the ports. But we do have a lot of pre-orders in, I think, as far as like the middle of next year.
Yeah, till like March or April.
And like I said, it's thousands of dollars worth of stuff. There's lots of stuff coming in. We pretty much went ham on it because we know we're going to have more space in here. And it's not just more stuff. I'm also getting more variety of things. So like a lot of people are like looking for like, say, like the Xeon aquatic suits, or maybe some of the strange variants, or maybe tools or effect parts, or like the 30-minute mission sets, like the little girl kits.
Yeah, the sisters.
Like all those are coming out, and we've got all that stuff pre-ordered. It's really just a matter of time and waiting for the orders to kind of catch up.
And you guys know we always try to keep pricing at a very affordable rates.
Yes.
So we appreciate you waiting for us and not buying it online. But if you do need to buy it online, hey, I understand that need. Or if you find another local shop, I would just, my word of caution is just, once again, check prices.
Don't pay for scalpers.
Yeah, and there are scalpers going on in stores, so
Yeah.
Be sure to check those prices, unless of course you're looking for something very specific and you want to get it anyway. So last question for the night, Baptiste 023 says, okay, so maybe you guys are going to have another Sazabi for my collection.
What kind? I know we have both the high grade, the master grade, and the real grade on pre-order. So, like I said, just keep your eye on the social media, the Instagram, the Discord, stuff like that. And whatever your flavor is, we will have one coming eventually. Just the thing I recommend to everyone is just when you see it, come on, don't wait, show up here. I know you were saying we can't take like holds or anything anymore.
Not yet, no, yeah.
Yeah. No. So if you call in advance, we can't put things behind the counter anymore.
Because people stop showing up.
Because people stop showing up, and like poor Will's getting like 20 calls from like the same guys saying, "Do you have this one? Do you have this one? Do you have this one?" It's like,
or they show up.
It's
and we're not even open.
I know it's unmanageable. So just it is kind of first come first serve. But like I said, we got a lot more stock coming in. And the thing with our distributor too is the more we order, the more we guarantee future stock.
100%.
You know what I mean? They see us spending more. They're like, okay, these guys are, spending more.
Gradually increasing.
Yeah, so they're going to gradually, move us up in their supply chain as priority as we move more and more merchandise.
And that's how guys like the pre-orders work on websites too. It's like, it's not that they have the kits there, nor are they guaranteed.
No.
That's why they do refunds. So
yeah. That's why there was that issue with the perfect grades when those first came out, the Unleashed.
Yeah, because the ship like got destroyed.
The ship sank, and like a lot of people didn't end up getting their kits, and it wasn't the fault of anyone. It just happens.
Exactly.
But yeah, and some places oversold pre-orders, like they sold more than they could possibly ever get, even in the best case scenario, stuff like that happens.
So just proceed with caution. There's a lot of scam websites out there. You definitely don't want to be taken advantage of. Sean ends the night with a comment, looking forward to the new real grade EVA that's coming out soon. Which one is that?
Probably, I believe that's Unit 6, which is the black one with the spear. That one we have pre-ordered as well. Or did that one already come out? I can't say off the top of my head, but we do have all those.
So,
that
Sean, if you're in he's in the Discord, right?
Yeah, he's in the
Yeah, Blandish, if you're in the Discord, so be sure to hit up Ben with those questions in the Gundam Discord. It's all pretty much perfect for that.
I'm pretty sure he's talking Unit 6, and I'm pretty sure that's not out yet.
Baptiste, that's a great idea. Maybe have it on a timer if you hold them. Yeah, that'd be horrible to track. I could see that timer breaking or people saying, well, why'd you reset it? But nonetheless, guys, if you see a kit, I have one rule. If you see a kit that you like, grab it because you never know when you're going to see it again.
Yeah.
So
the only thing we could say is like we're going to try, like I said, and get more stuff, but it is going to have to kind of be first come, first serve.
Exactly. All right, guys. Well, we appreciate you hanging out this evening with Let's Talk Gunpla. We'll be back next month, maybe with a special guest. Once again, still talking about Gundam and Gunpla and all that kind of stuff. Be sure to check out our Discord if you're watching this or rewatching this. Our Discord links are everywhere. They're in our Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube, everywhere possible. If you hit up Ben at Uber's Cosplay on Instagram and on Facebook, he's in our Discord under Uber's Cosplay as well. So be sure to ask any and all questions. The Discord's a great place to take this conversation deeper and just to ask questions in general and also to make friends. And once again, guys, we are doing our build and paint night here in our expansion space, even though the expansion space is a work in progress, because we want to be able to give you guys more room. So like it was before, we'd get a packed house. We have plenty of new tables, plenty of new chairs, plenty of new space for everybody to enjoy. It's a great time to kind of, I know, get out of the house or force yourself to look at things in a different direction, or maybe ask those questions you want to ask in real life. So anyways, guys, it's my pleasure, Joseph, for doing this stream. I know Ben and I always enjoy coming together, and we surely do hope that you enjoyed it. And yeah, hopefully you guys have a new model you're building and you enjoy that. You know, I know my backlog that's growing, but nonetheless, one day I'll get to it once the expansion space is finished. So anyways, Ben, anything you want to say at the end?
If you guys are interested in cosplay too, come out for the next cosplay build night.
Yes, November 4th.
I'll be here probably working on the weathering for my Easy 8 costume.
Perfect opportunity, guys. Cosplay craft night on November 4th from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. We have a bunch of cosplayers come out for that. Remember that Sunday, the 24th, we have our CrawCon, everything board games from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. And then the following Saturday, October 30th, we have our Halloween Spectacular party, which is just our Halloween event. It's going to be an epic time, great time, costume contest, candy apples, kettle corn, our friends at Shimaju, I think.
To say the ramen.
Yes, the ramen place in Davie. I always try to pronounce it correctly. Chef Kisan will be here with Melvin and the whole crew. So some delicious ramen also, and we'll be using the expansion space. So it's going to be a great time, guys. So anyways, guys, we really appreciate you, and we hope to see you next time on Let's Talk Gunpla. Until next time, see you guys later. Happy building.
Take care.